We're going to start working through all the videos starting at the very beginning for the Pfaff Quilt Expression 4.2 sewing machine. Starting off with accessories. So there's a bag of accessories that come with this machine. There is one extra foot that is loose, so make sure you find that. Plus, in the accessory box, there is one extra foot in the back area. That's the buttonhole foot. So there's storage in the front of the machine and also in the back of the machine. So I'm going to just slide this out because I want to show you one thing. There's a couple feet holder areas that are larger, some are smaller, and one actually has a little hole in it. And that will be for the manual buttonhole foot. So when I get to that part, I'll show you. Bobbins line up here. This is easy to take out and fill bobbins and then put it back in. It is nice. I really like how they set these accessory boxes up. You can take it off for the free arm, slide it back on when you want that little extended work surface, and then close everything up. And everything travels with you when you go places. So make sure you keep all your accessories close by. Then you never get somewhere without something that you truly need. Okay, first off, before we totally get started, one of the power cords that is in with the machine. One is the actual power cord. Make sure that gets plugged into some type of battery backup or surge protector. I'm more of a fan of a battery backup because this is a computer. Everything's going to run smoother, and if I lose power, I don't get those glitches or things that could interrupt the circuit boards. So check out at your local office supply store or online at a computer store what a battery backup is, and they will help you with that. Okay, so plugging this cord in, you will find that in your in your foot control, there's a little area. Oh, I actually have the machine on, so I better watch what I'm doing here. So once you slide this in and get it fully engaged here, I usually don't ever pull it back out, but there is a little slot to the side that this will actually slide so the foot control will sit flat against the floor of your machine. Of course, I stepped on it a few times, but you know what? While I'm here, let me show you something. That the needle's down right now, so if you just tap the toe of at the top of your foot control, you get a half a stitch. So sometimes you'll see me doing that where I'll just tap my toe in and the needle will come up or the needle will go down. Right now I don't have a bobbin in it, so it's saying, hey, by the way, you're out of thread in your bobbin. Yes, I know that. Okay, so we'll lift up the presser foot. I'll set this on the floor and then it'll be ready for when we're using it. Okay, accessories. So there's all sorts of little fun feet and extra doodads that come with this machine. So I want to walk you through some of these and where to put them as you go. You do have specific Pfaff bobbins. So you have 4 bobbins that I'm seeing right here. So I'll leave one out, and then those bobbins can go right into that bobbin holder. Remember that bobbin holder can come out and you can load up. So when you need more bobbins, make sure you're not just borrowing bobbins from an old machine. You do need to actually have the Pfaff bobbins that are required. So they're kind of like a light lavender purple. They have a Pfaff logo on them, and that way you always know what side to have up when you wind a bobbin, and also when you drop it into the machine, that the Pfaff logo is also always on the top side. Then you never do it incorrectly or backwards. So we have those. We do have some accessories like a brush. We'll show you how to clean this machine, and a seam ripper. So remember, just take that little top off and use it as a handle. That's always something that makes life easier. So I'm going to put some of those things back here. This is a thread net. If you ever have some threads that are unraveling and coming off the spool, you can slip a thread net over it and it contains it. I've sometimes even used that with metallic thread. That way it just works. Seam guide, I'll show you how you can use this to adjust for seam allowances, follow a line, or go further than the lines are actually marked on the throat plate. Speaking of lines, these have both American numbers and European numbers, so both metric and inches are on here. You will need a screwdriver from time to time to take your needle in and out, and also to pop up the throat plate. I love that it doesn't have screws. All I have to do is use it to just give it a little flip. Easy to get in and clean everything out. This is a multi-purpose tool. This, and by its name, there's lots of uses. And so I'll show you a couple of videos on how to use that. Plus, there's a little hole. Great way to get your needle in and out. As you loosen it, it can catch it so it doesn't drop into your machine. And sometimes when people have a hard time holding on or getting close in there, that tool helps extend everything. Okay, let's get into some of the feet next. So there is a foot 0A on the machine. There is a foot 1A, and the machine will actually show you what foot to have on for each of the stitches that it picks. Now notice that when you turn the machine on, if you have no information showing, touch the I for information. And then as we go from stitch to stitch, I'll just go to stitch 100. What's there? 100. And then it'll show us, for example, the 2A foot. So that's one of those, it's a slightly bigger foot. And so I am going to put it on the part where the larger openings are. Our 1A foot will go in. This is the manual buttonhole foot I mentioned. And the reason it has that little hole where we're going to put it is because it has a extra little length to it. So this little part sits in that hole, and then it actually will close and not to get hung up when you go to close the accessory box. You do have a free motion quilting foot, yay, comes with the machine. A zipper foot, number 4, and you got to remember something about the zipper foot. You have to be able to read the number 4. Some people put it on backwards. It doesn't work out so well. These little tritons or 3 little points need to stick to the back. That's actually where the dual feed fits in. So we'll identify what that means and make sure you have that on correctly when we go to sew zippers. We also have a blind hem foot and an overlock foot, kind of all in one. This little red marker is adjustable, so it definitely has the all the goodies that we need there. Remember the buttonhole foot, we'll set that into the back. I should have put that in first because now it's much larger. We'll see if that closes. So far, so good. Needles. You have tons of needles that come with this machine. And anytime we talk about something that there might be another video for, you can look up in this corner here where the little I is coming out, and that will link to another one of our videos to give you more information. So watch for those little I's to pop up, click on it, and then that will take you to another video to continue learning. So great variety pack of needles, everything from stretch needles, a wing needle, jeans needles, embroidery needles, and a whole bunch of small to large sizes depending on your fabric. But we'll get into needles, help you out. We even have a needle playlist on YouTube. I highly recommend that you go through each of those videos. They're really, really short and sweet, but you can learn a lot about needles in general. Now these little thread caps, there's different sizes. So when you put them on, just make sure that when you slide the spool on and the cap on, make sure there's no little gap. That's where thread can get caught and, well, it's just not pretty. It breaks the needle and makes you not very happy. So make sure when you ever use a thread cap, you slide it on, push it firmly up against the spool. There's small, medium, and large ones, and sometimes when we use the vertical spool pen, we'll put one of these on first, like a little disc or saucer, put one of the felt pads on, and then you can have another spool up here. So that's another way to use the spool caps that come with the machine. One last thing, hey everyone, it's a 1/4 inch foot with the place for the IDT or dual feed to come in. It is a metal foot, so if you do want one with a guide, they do make that. You can pick that up at your local Pfaff store. And but we'll be working on how to master your 1/4 inch seam with this machine and this foot that came with it. So let's get started. Let's start playing with some of these accessories because we are going to go through every single one of these in its own separate video.